Okay, let's see if this camera will focus. There it is. Okay, let me know if you guys can hear me. I'll try to angle it down maybe a little bit. Okay, so that, well, there's nothing I can do about this. It is what it is. Okay, see all my marker mess over here? I haven't cleaned my desk in. It's been a minute. Um, so today, because we haven't really picked, like, we haven't really decided what we were going to be doing, I picked out an older die set. Um, this is Spring Bouquets. Let me know if you have this. This is an older one, and it's one that kind of came out before our Lovely Layers series. So it doesn't have all like the layering guides and how you will layer things up. In order to make these dimensional, we kind of need to rely on our coloring. Hi, Lise. Good job remembering. Um, So these kind of rely on us to color them to make them more dimensional. And so I thought that would kind of be fun to do. So that way, if you have any like this one or some of our older dies that aren't necessarily layered, that you could still get a lot of use out of them. You know that these are much older because they're still together. They don't um you got to clip them apart. But I'm going to share with you what I do because I don't like to clip them apart. Because I don't like to clip them apart. Also, we do get a lot of people though who ask questions about like how like what do you do to get them apart. And in the beginning, I used to just like bend them until the pieces broke off. But then you would always run into the issue of like the really pokey parts. Um, so Oh, hi, Debbie. Enjoy your lunch. I don't know where you're at. It's kind of chilly here today, so it wouldn't be too bad to sit in your car today, but other days it probably would be. So I'm going to show you, yeah, these two. Okay. Can you hear, Debbie, can you hear me? So anyway, there's two here. This one is made for actual crafting. This is from Hero Arts and it comes with a little safety cap. These are little nippers. But then you can also find them at craft stores in the jewelry section. Um, so either or will work for cutting these kinds of things apart. Um, so there's some things like even though I don't want to cut them apart, I will have to. Um, like this in here, if I want this watering can to be a full size, then I have to cut these out of the middle. So what I like to do is I get as close as I can to the smaller parts. So I leave these like bigger ones out. And then that way I can go in and get them like right like this. So I usually hold them down like into my trash can and clip them so that they don't fly places and take out an eye. But I do believe, I think it's, what's her name? Give me a second. Amy Rasavi, uh, Prairie Paper Ink. She does it by doing like a wet um, paper towel. We'll try this and see. And then she can kind of get them to like stick in there, I think is what she said. Maybe she covers it like this. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, that one just fell right out. So maybe just the covering it and then you got to go See, that one did go flying. So anywho, there's not too many of these. I am gonna do them in my trash can just because that's what I'm used to doing. Um, so what I like to do is once I get all those pieces, parts out, like I like here in this basket, like we want the full basket. I actually think we're going to be using the watering can, but regardless, you would want to take those out of the basket. And um, then what I do is because you guys know how I feel about you know how I feel about cutting multiple dies. Um, these ones, these little teeny tiny guys are going to have to come out as well. Otherwise, we're not going to have any petals for, I think these are for tulips. So, back to the trash can. So, how was everybody's weekend been? Like I said, our weather here has turned back to cool, which makes me feel better that we did not get around to opening our pool yet. Our pool yet, because we had talked about, since we got the heater last year, um, that we, hi Tiffany, hi Valencia, thanks for joining, that we would try to get the pool open in May. So the fact that it's like high 60s, low 40s right now really does make me feel better. Peanut's birthday is coming up. It's tomorrow, and he will be 12. So in this case, like I'm having a hard time getting into that one. I'm just going to fold it over, and it's just going to leave a very little teeny tiny bit. I'll try to snip it, but yeah, see, I can't even get it. So that one will just end up staying. Oh yeah, you guys are hot, huh? Oh, but you had to turn the heat on in Wisconsin. So yeah, that's us right now because we were sweating. All right, so very quickly looking, I don't see any. This is meant to be cut out, so I'm not worried about those. I am worried about those. um, the little flower centers. So he ended up doing, I won't go into the whole thing because I'm sure it'll be story time on a video, but we ended up normally we do home parties. We did not do that this time. We ended up doing an out of the house party, which honestly he was thrilled about because he's kind of been asking for a long time. But they are expensive. So we typically, do it at home. So this one, I'm just kind of like trying to rock back and forth to see if I can get my nippers in there from a different angle. Oh, dropped it. Yeah, rainy and chilly in Michigan. Cheryl, we're having the same kind of weather. Um, it was a little rainy yesterday because if it's not one thing, it's another. I broke my tooth yesterday. Um, it was a long time ago root canal, and it is already part of um a a project plan that I have with my dentist. So thankfully, it's one we already have a game plan for like a 4-part bridge. Um, and because it was a root canal before, it doesn't actually hurt, which is great. But it is a little bit pokey. So I will when I get off with my live, I will be calling my dentist to make sure that I get in there. Okay. So now I think I got all the pokey parts. Okay. And if for some reason, like you're still worried about them being pokey, um, you can always hit them with like a metal file. All right. So now here's my cheater's way. Okay. I'm not going to cut them all out. I'm just going to lay them down here and I'm going to cut them all at the same time. Oh, Tracy, don't procrastinate too long because I have one that is missing in the back. This is actually the one we're going to do the bridge for. And because I waited so long, my sinus dropped And so now I'm no longer a candidate for getting an implant. Um, because then like I could still do it, but I would have to have like a sinus lift and a skin graft and all of that stuff, and then let that heal, and then I could go back in and do my implant. So don't be me. Go get it done. Go get it done. Can I fit this in here? Nope, it's a hair big. Okay, but I can fit this in here because I know because it came that way. Can I fit you down here, or will I have to further cut you apart? I think I will. I think I just got to take one little guy off, though. I just went through my first ever root canal. Oh, Lisa, I know they're not super fun. They are not super fun, the root canals. Yeah, I'm glad I could help you out, Tracy, because you don't want to be stuck. My aunt did go through like the whole process of doing like the sinus lift and all of that, which was very long and very expensive. I mean, doing teeth is already expensive. You know, that's just how it goes. But yeah. So anyway, it's been a little rainy here. Um, so does anybody? Cheryl just she loves the water can dye. Does anybody own this? I've been with the honeybees a long time, so I have had this. I have lots of older sets. I did have to go on just to double check though. I did go on the website just to um, double check and see if it was because honeybees sometimes be retire and stuff, and I don't know. So I gotta stay on the up and up. But if you have not been and seen the retiring section, this is one of my favorite things about the honeybee website because they are more than just their own brand. They carry all kinds of stuff. When they retire things, it's not necessarily just like stamps and dies and their things. It's also other products that they carry. So I frequently go back in and check what is in the sales section because sometimes, there's like inks or papers or envelopes, stuff that I would be buying anyway. And why wouldn't I buy it on sale? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm cheap. Cheap chicken strikes again. Okay. All right. So now we got them all down. They all fit on this half sheet. I'm thrilled with that. And now I'm going to run it through my die cutting system. And these just sit in my little like caddy. So I do like the fact that the one has a little cap on it because they can be sharp. Um, so I do like that. Okay. You got the best spellbinder. Oh, the spellbinder scissors are excellent. Oh, look, see, there was one I didn't tape down. I missed it, and then it slid away when I went to move it. But I guess I'd rather catch it beforehand than after I've already die cut it, right? There we go. Well, good scissor. I mean, Brandon, I don't blame you. I think all crafters, or especially if you are a crafter who also has like a sewing hobby, um, this die set is Spring Bouquets. Um, yeah, especially if you're somebody who cuts fabric or like I have a separate set of scissors for my cross stitching. What a good pair of scissors and why they're so expensive. All right. And here we go. And then here. This is one of the nice things about having like the extra large plates from Spellbinders because then you can fit a full half sheet on there. And that part is very nice because now I'm going to be able to run this through. Bear Valley Springs, California. I don't know where that is, but I love the name of it. Okay. So then, like, here's all of our little pieces parts. if you wanted to cut more, like, you could just pull the whole piece off, put it on another half sheet, and cut them again. But I think we'll have enough for what we're trying to do here. I'm actually just gonna take this plate off and see. Okay. All right, let's pop out all of our pieces parts and see. Ooh, 96 in North Florida. That is warm. That means, well, this is Dawn who's just told us that, but that means my Dawn Woolslagel, is probably also sweating to death because she is in North Florida as well. So, come on, come on, come on. There we go. That I think is trash. Give me that flour. Okay. So yeah, I bought my Spellbinder scissors because I have the little ones. Where are they? The detail scissors. These are the detail scissors. But then I also have the shears, which are amazing. But I got mine as part of like a holiday kit, like they were doing a holiday, like different bundles and stuff. And it came with the guillotine trimmer, which is really what I wanted. Um, and it was cheaper to do the bundle. So I did that. And then I got the scissors and I was like, oh my gosh, I never would have bought these scissors myself, but they are amazing. They are good scissors. Okay. So we got a couple of little, these are like little daisies. These are some flower inside, some more leaves. So first things first, how do you guys like, how do you figure out how much to die cut? Dawn always cuts extra. I like to get all of my pieces parts out, and then I like to kind of lay them out to see um what my bouquet is going to look like, and if I am happy with that, then I don't cut anymore. Dawn always cuts extra, um so that way she doesn't get halfway through the project, realizes she needs another leaf, and then die cuts that, has to go back and get all the die cuts out and stuff like that, which I totally get. Where are my, I can't find my poker, and, oh, there it is. It was hiding. This is the die release tool from Honeybee, which is great. This is also, if you ever heard the story, um, about the time that my husband stabbed himself in the foot on accident while he was helping me die cut. This was, in fact, um, it was yellow at the time because honeybees used to be yellow, but that was the weapon. For the record, I did not stab him. He stabbed himself. So you guys usually cut extras. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I don't like the process. Oh, my top plate is a wreck. Yes. But I'm cheap and I am not changing the plates until they break. When they break, new plates. I already have them. I own them. They're over here, but I'm not using them until it's time. Okay, so let's see what we got. I don't think we're going to use the basket. I do think that we're going to use the um, watering can. So let's set this aside. All right, you are clearly a tulip. Do you go together? They may. They may. And then, is this a tulip? Like this? Oh, look, I told you guys it wasn't rainy. And oh, Linda, who got stabbed? My husband. This was, I guess I need to tell the story. Um, so I was doing it was for Libby, for Hero Arts. I was doing some work, um, and she had I think she actually had somebody pass away in her family, um, and so is this it? This does not look like a leaf. This looks like a flower. Do you come over here? We'll see. We'll come back to you. Um, so anyway, she needed some help with kidding, because she was teaching classes at the time. And so she reached out. We all are in like a group together, all of us that are friends. And she reached out to see if anybody would be able to help her put these kits together. And I was like, girl, I will whatever you need, I will help you to the best of my ability. And so she so she sent him over and we're doing like all of this die cutting. And my husband is wonderful. And he was like, I'll help you or whatever. And I'm like, okay, thanks. So we're sitting at the kitchen table, we're die cutting, we're putting all these things together. And he dropped the pokey tool and he did not want he was being a little bit lazy, which is okay. We all feel that way sometimes. And so he decided he was going to try to scoot it with his foot, so that he could get it like out from underneath the table. And he did scoot it, but he scooted it right into the side of the table leg like this. So when when he went to scoot it and it pressed up the table leg, this part actually went directly into his toe, into his big toe. And he was like, you're gonna have to get that out for me. And I was like, what am I getting out for you? And he was like, I think I just stabbed myself in the toe. So then I looked out and like when I tell you, it wasn't like a light, like little poke. I mean, it was stuck. It was stuck in there and I had to like it out. Um, so and then he still helped me kick because he's because he's awesome. But yeah, don't mess around with these. If they fall, just pick them up with your hands. Okay. Um, so I think these won't like you could probably double them up, and make them like fuller flowers if you wanted. Like those would be cute. But I'm gonna see how far we get with like are these I think these are leaves. What do you belong to? Because do you see this little edge? This has got to belong to something. And this is maybe a bottom of a tulip, like where it would connect down here, maybe? Not 100% certain. Okay. It is pouring down rain right now because I said that it was just cool and it wasn't raining. And then so these are stalk flowers. Tulips are stalk flowers, so we're going to let this give us some height here. And then it would be nice to have something that kind of hangs over the can. I also love a leaf for that. I love a little leaf to hang over, like here. And then we could do these are definitely like more like tulip leaves. Oh my gosh, hockey. How did you Oh, and then you went camping? Oh my gosh. You probably got like kids in camping, like there's probably so much dirt and stuff that you probably just put right in that toe. All right. So I can put this flower here maybe and kind of because I like when they kind of cover up the top edge, but I also like a little bit of height. You know what I'm saying here? Put down there. So this is cute. This is working. Maybe we put one of these over here. a bigger. How many flowers we got? One, two, three, four. Yeah, we definitely need another. So maybe we'll tuck that one behind and do a smaller center, maybe. These look very large. So maybe a middle of the road. Oh my gosh. You guys are crazy. I don't know how you're surviving this. If I dropped a knife into my toe, do you know what the next thing on the floor would be? Me, unconscious. I would not make it. I wouldn't make it. It's too big. So what do we got? One, two, three, four, five. I kind of like that. Is this? I feel like this is part of like another flower or something, not necessarily a leaf. Could we make our own flower? I'm not loving that. Okay. So I do want to put this one in here because I like that it gives us a little bit of a different shape. But how are we feeling about that? Do I have one cut? I can't believe I don't have one cut. Um, so yeah, I guess we'll do a little just so I can see how it fits. And I do the new puppy cat set next week. Yeah, are you talking about the ones from Dawn? Or are you talking about the lovely layers? I have them both. I just want Naomi, I just want to clarify which one you're looking for. Yeah, I would faint too, Brandon. I would be down for the count. Like the lovely layers from Honeybee. Okay. I will pull those out to do some puppies and some kitties. So I feel like this is a good size, like height wise, for be a focal point on a card. So I think I'm just going to set these aside for now and concentrate on this. How are we feeling about that? Um, is it Tamara or Tamara? Tell me, so because I don't want to mispronounce it. My best friend, like well, there's Amy, of course, but then like my best high school friend, who we're still friends with, you probably heard me talk about her on videos. Her name is Daedra. It's Daedra. Like nobody ever pronounces it right, so I try to be very conscientious about pronunciation. Because I got to tell you, for a really long time, she was Dedra. That is how people would pronounce it. That is how people would pronounce it. So I do try to be conscientious about names. Rhymes with camera. Tamara. Tamara? Wasn't even one of the other options that I gave you, but I like it. It's pretty. Okay. The new Lovely Layers cottage. Okay. All right. So I think we're good for this one. And so let's start some coloring. All right. So let's pull our flowers out. You go with you. You two stay together. You two stay together. You are also friends. Okay. And then these are the same type of leaves. These are the same type of leaves. These are the same type of leaves. And then we have our watering can. Okay. So I am going to take my face off so that we can just have the full screen of the coloring. And we're going to start with the can. Okay. Okay. All right. Now you can color this any color that you would like to color this. I am going to color it more like a traditional, um, I don't think that you can, sorry, I don't think you can zoom in closer with StreamYard. Unfortunately, I think this is close as it gets. I will try to make sure that I raise it up for you guys to be able to see it. Um, yes, take my face. What was that movie? That Kim, I'm old. That was a movie. Face Off. Who was it? John Travolta, Nicolas Cage. Is that what it was? I never watched the movie, but I do remember I do remember the title. Okay. So I'm gonna go with the cool grays, and I'm gonna do it more of like a silver watering can. As soon as I find the C3. Here it is. I told you guys I haven't cleaned my desk in a long time. So I'm gonna grab this C7. Maybe that's usually a little darker than I would go, but I don't know what this is gonna look like. So I should raise these up though so you can see them. There we go. And I will try to um leave the caps on. All right, I'm going to start with the C5 because as of right now, I feel like that's going to be my darkest color. That C7 is a maybe. So here, this is the actual watering can holes. This is the side of it. So here, we're definitely going to have a shadow because it's attaching. So you remember how we talked about any point where two places meet, it's darker, or where one lays on top of the other, we're going to have shadows. So then here, I'm going to take this down because if our light source is up here, then this is going to catch the most light. So same thing with this side. This is going to be a little bit darker. And you can see I'm not adding a ton of dark. I'm just right now doing the lines. So then here, because this is on the inside, we're going to have a shadow here as well. And then along, I'm going to do what they call a center highlight. So I'm going to add my darkest color along the side and along this side. And this, see here where they meet, there'll be shadows, but we're not going to add any shadows here. Okay. Now we can, for this wider expanse, bring this in a little bit just with flicking and see, we want to move it kind of, where's my, I need to scrap this paper. All right. So this is not big enough. Here we go. Okay. So if we have a straight line, okay, and we have a straight line. If we add the shading like this, just straight, okay, and it creates like that wall of color where, because this is a little, the top is curved, if we follow that curved line, we create more shape instead of just flat across. So I am trying to follow along with the shape of the bottle, the watering can. Couldn't think of it. All right, I'm going to add just a little bit at the bottom, because it's going to have some shadows from where it's sitting. And then this, I'm going to turn it to this side. And again, I'm still going to try to create that little rounded shape. My C5 needs to be refilled. So we have that now. I do think I'm probably gonna end up using this C7 because my C5 needs to be refilled. So I'm gonna come in and add this shadow just underneath here. I'm not gonna take it all the way down, but I am gonna bring it into these sides here. And I'm not going to extend it out. This is just gonna be my very outside edges. Now, we're gonna move on to the C3. And now this time I am going to carry this up right along this line, because remember, this is the area that has the holes in it, and this is the side. So we're gonna go right over that C5. Here, I might need to, for blending purposes, bring in a little C5 and then C3. Sorry. So I added just a little bit of C5 there, and then so that way I could bring back the C3. And then we'll do the same thing here. But as you can see, we're always kind of covering our previous color. That's going to help it blend. Go over this area down at the bottom. Pardon me, ma'am. And then the same thing. And I do try to, like I said before, kind of vary the length of my strokes. So that way I'm not creating like this wall of color. I'll extend this part out and go over this again, like that. This is the C1. So I'm going over this. Going right over there. And then because we've taken this kind of down so far, we will just carry this C1 right through here, this gap here. Apparently I need to refill all of my C markers. They are dying out. I might have another C1 though. I do. Let's try that one. A little bit better. Not much though. I must have pulled this trick before. I must have pulled this trick before and just not done it. Okay. And then this part here. Okay. So I'm going to go back to my C5 and do the little dots here on the watering can. Doesn't have to be perfect. You know, we're just giving the illusion of that. And then if you feel like you have kind of lost your delineation between the two, you can always, you know, add in a little bit more shading. So right now this does not look all that great, which I mean, like, we have a little bit of dimension, but we don't really have a lot of texture. So there is a little trick that you can do if you, let me see if I can find it. There it is. Okay. You see this? Oh, okay. Do you see this old dingy cloth? It is clean. It is just stained and well loved through my craft room. So if you have an old dingy cloth like this, what you can do is you can use colorless blender, or you can just use regular alcohol. And then you would put it, I'm going to find a spot that still looks like it's got some Sometimes you want to like crumple it up a little. All right, we're going to do this. Okay, so you put a little alcohol on there. Okay, and then you can kind of crumple it up a little bit and go over and press into your coloring, and it will give you some texture that will help it to look more like galvanized metal. So it's harder to see. Let me bring it up here. It's harder to see on lighter colors. So it may behoove us to go back in with a little bit of some darker of the grays. Um, so this is the C7, which is a little bit dark. But we don't, because we're going to be using that like little trick, we don't necessarily have to be as careful with our marks because we know that it's going to be kind of blended out with our cloth. You can also, I don't have a video on it, but I know Dawn does. Like if you wanted a more aged kind of look, like kind of a watering can that was a little bit older. Dawn did a video, I think it was a barrel that she did. Hello, welcome. We have someone who's new who's joining us. But anyway, I know Dawn did on her channel. I think it's on the W+9 channel. She did I think it was a barrel where she added like the aging and the patina and stuff, which was great. So I just feel like this would be the, you know what I'm saying? The texture is going to be more obvious if we have a little bit of darker colors. And so I think it's worth it too. And you can see, like, if you can't, this is not specific. Like, we are not specific with our coloring. So then we're going to go back. This is just regular isopropyl alcohol. Like I said before, you can use colorless blender. Just going to put a little bit on our old ratty, our old ratty cloth. And then I'm just going to bunch it up and pop it on there. Yeah, see how much easier it is to see when it's a little bit darker? And it's got such great texture. I mean, it's so good. Barb, Dawn is doing good. She actually has her last radiation treatment today, I think. And then she switches over to having to go in for chemo, I'm pretty sure. So here you can see all that really beautiful texture that's right on there. We love this. I think it's so pretty. And then if you wanted to do like a detail where because it does have some, what is this? It does have some like a little decorative line. We could just go in there very lightly and add that in. It's not going to remove the texture, just that line will be a little less textured and it gives it a little bit more character. So yeah, I'm going to carry this line up a little bit too because I want there to be a separation between them. But I think otherwise I'm pretty happy with the way the watering can looks. Of course we will add shimmer because it is metallic. And also I love shimmer. So we will add some shine to it. And that's not going to affect the pattern at all because the pattern was created with alcohol inks and the shimmer is water-based. So And then see, it'll be all shimmery shiny in the light. And I love that. I love that for us. Okay, so now let's look at these. Because these are like daisies, I am gonna color them white. We're kind of stacking them on top of each other. And then, oh, you know what? You don't have a center. Let me get you one. Will you do? You will do. Okay. Oh, Barb. Well, I will pray for you. I hopefully end of July you'll be through it. Okay. So for coloring something white, we're just adding the shadows. And so I'm just going to use a C3 and a C1, and I'm just kind of going to take it up from the center. I'm not really doing too much to it because I still want it to read as white. So, and then I will just blend over that with the C1. Now, please know I am having to press a little harder than I normally would because I need to refill my marker. So, come on, I just need you to make it just a few more petals. Okay, so then this one will sit on top of this one. They'll have a little bit of dimension, and then this will be yellow. Okay, I like that. That's good. I feel like maybe we're going to do a little pink tulip. What do we think about that? A little pink tulip? Um, I do. Maybe Lisa can tell me. Lisa, is there supposed to be another piece on top of here? Am I missing one? Okay, well, regardless, while we wait for Lisa to answer. I'm going to go with a 2, with a 2, and a 4, and a 6, I think. A 9? We could go. Maybe a 19. There we are. Okay, don't mind my markers. Yeah, I know. I need you. Kim, next video that you see me, you let me know. Like, hey girl, you didn't refill your marker. All right, so here is the pinks that I'm going to use. Okay. How's mom hockey? She get everything sorted out? All right. Just going to mark this. And then, okay, thank you, Lisa. So now, because it's not a layering set, here's all we're going to do with this. We're just going to pick which side is going to be on top. If we want the petal on the right to be on top, then we're going to add the shadow over here to the left. If we want the petal on the left to be on top, we'll add the shadow over here to the right. So I am going to add my shadow over here so that this petal appears to be on top. Okay, and then I'm just going to add a couple little flicks of color, and I'll add these shadows kind of up there on the side. Okay, this one is way in the back. So all right, there's that. Go right over that 19 to blend it in. Pinks in Copics are one of the hardest ones. How long will the refilled C1 last with all of your coloring? I don't know, because the lighter colors don't last as long because you use more, of it. The darker colors, because we use so little, do tend to last a little bit longer. Um, and I use my cool grays a lot. So I totally get that. I do. And it is challenging, but God bless you for being willing to do it. All right. So then this is the RB02, and as you can see, it bleaches out that color kind of quite a bit. So then we will be able to put them together and have our little tulip. So this one, which is another one, I'm trying to remember how the pink was here. Down here was that daisy. This was right underneath the tulip. This was in the back left. So this one I think should be the other pink one. Okay. Alrighty. So for this one, we have this center here that's going to be yellow. So I'm just going to go around that with my darkest color, and then I will kind of flick out into the middle of the petals, and having the middle be darker will help it to look so like it's a little bit more concave. So like the petal is kind of turning in on itself. And then back to the 6. I'm also going to put that in between the petals. Okay. Extend those out. And then the 4. And this is going to be the one that covers up like the majority of the petal. We're just going to have the little teeniest, tiniest white parts on the edges of the petal for our highlight color. And I'm not going to go over everything how normally I do. I'm just going to bring it in from the edge because this color does bleach out those darks so quickly. I just want my edges to be light. Okay. All right, there's that one. And then we're going to do the centers yellow. I want to do a blue, I think. You don't normally see a lot of blue flowers. I know that, but normally I would gravitate towards orange, and I feel like I do that all the time. So I'm going to do blue, but only if I can find them all, which is questionable. Okay. I have, in fact, located them. Okay. As you guys know, if you watch my channel, um, my mom took care of my grandmother for 10 years until she passed at the age of 91. And she was one of 4 siblings. And sometimes I would ask her, like, don't you get frustrated that they don't do as much as you do with Graham? And my mom's response was, no, I don't get frustrated because I know at the end, when the time comes, that I will have no regrets about how I spent my time with her. So I always, like, I think it's a beautiful way to look at it. Not saying, I mean, nobody's perfect. Not saying you don't get tired and exhausted, and my mom did all of those, got tired and kind of beat down and, all of those things, but, um, she did for Graham what she thought, was the best care that she could provide, and she felt like that best care she could provide was at home. So, and I thought she was out of her mind. I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but Graham fractured her hip and she had to go to a facility, um, which lasted like all of 2 weeks before my mother was like, "Absolutely not. I'm bringing her home." And I was like, I was like, "Mama, she has a fractured hip. She cannot get out of bed. Like, how are you going to care for her?" And mom was like, "I'll figure it out, but I'm not going to leave her in this home where I don't think she's getting the best care." And fortunately, we were able to do that. Not everybody is. Sometimes, um, their actual medical needs far outweigh what you can do at home. Graham was not in poor health. Um, and so mom brought her home, and that was in February of 2020. And if she would not have brought her home before the lockdown of the pandemic, like, we would not have seen her again before she passed. So I was very worried about it, and I gave her, a hard time about it because I was like, "I don't know how you're gonna do this," but as usual, my mother knew my mother knew exactly what she was doing and the choices that she was making. So, yeah, gotta give it to her. Alright, now we're yellows. Okay, so I do need to I'm just gonna grab this little my little guy that we use to do because 'cause it's got a little bit of alcohol on him, and I'm just gonna clean up so I don't get them on my yellows. Okay, and these are all the yellows. And so for that, we are gonna do the usual go-to. Um, I'm looking for the YR24. That's what I'm looking for. I need like an assi I need an assistant. YR24, like how doctors ask for the scalpels. Okay, alright. That's what we're going with. Let me hold them up here so you can see them. I'm gonna get a sip of coffee. Okay, so I'm gonna do this on the outer edge because I want them all to look like the edges are kind of sunk in. Yeah, she for sure mom was adamant about bringing Graham home, which I totally understand because we would take, she was not by herself in there. We would take turns with going to see her, and if for some reason there was a gap in between, like, the caretaker coverage, my uncle would FaceTime her, um, from Georgia so that she had somebody in there with her. Kim Jellybean cannot be my assistant. She cannot stay on task. She cannot stay on task. Someday, though, I sure hope she'll enjoy doing and making, and I hope to be able to do that with her someday. But I also know God gives each of us different gifts, and so that might not be something that she enjoys. Um, but I will hold out hope. Okay, so now these are all done, and they're going to go back to their homes. Okay. Oh, you have a little one, Hockey, that does well. She's probably not little because you're talking about your mom being up in her 80s, so your daughter's probably a little bit older than that, huh? My mama is not crafty, So, though she did try for me, she would sometimes try for me. I usually go with my sister. My middle sister is one who's, like, down to be crafty with me. She's the one I told you we used to go to archivers and stuff. Um, but like, baking is how mom and I, uh so I gotta grab my other green here. Oh, that's not even the right green. Um, anyway, love of baking is what mom and I did together. Okay. What am I looking for? 67. Okay, so I feel like we're gonna do these like a true green. These maybe a yellow green. And no, 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 no. Stay up here. That's a BG. G29. That's also a BG. There's the G29. Okay. And maybe this one's some combination of the two. I don't think we need to bring in a crazy amount of green colors. Okay. So we're going to start with this one. Oh, bye, Brandon. Sorry you have to go to work. That is a bummer. Okay. So for this one, I'm just going to kind of come up from the bottom a little bit along the side. Same thing for this one. A little bit up the side. And then the G19 all the way up, going right over that 29 and G07. Okay. Okay. So those are our those. These we're going to do the yellow greens for. Hold these up here for you. Yeah, I only have a Hobby Lobby and a Michael's too. I don't, with the market being what it is right now, I don't typically shop at those unless it's like a dire emergency. Um, because I only have so many dollars and I would rather support uh companies, that I know them and know their owners and the smaller businesses. So even if they don't have a brick and mortar and I have to buy online, I still would rather support them doing that. But that's just me. Our Joann's closed as well, Kim. We used to have one probably about, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 minutes away from where I live. But yeah, it closed. Joann's, I pretty much like when I went in there, um, it was like I was just able to find maybe like some fun things for my kids. Kathy, you can color like me. It just takes practice. I didn't color like this when I started. I didn't color like this, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. It's all, we're learning as we go what works and what doesn't. Okay. So now there's those. And then I think for these, we're going to do a combo. So we're going to do the G29, the G07, and the YG03, I think will be a good, we're going to mix them up like that. And so for these, I'm kinda gonna do the same thing, just kinda gonna come up from the bottom, because that's where, they're gonna be tucked up underneath the flowers. Okay, get this little outside edge here, and then come in with this little bit of yellow green. So this one's kinda somewhere in between the other ones. Oh, Joann Fabrics is, yeah, it was a US chain craft store. They catered probably more to, like, sewing and things like that, but they did carry some other stuff. Um, there were stamps and scrapbooking and stuff like that. Oh, Michael's is adding some card making stuff? Oh, yeah, see, I haven't even been in one in so long. Um, I don't even know. So I'm gonna get this up off there, and then I'm also just gonna hit my fingertips, because sometimes when you're holding those little pieces, you get them onto your fingers, and then you can carry it to other areas. So we don't want to do that. All right. So now let's see if we can get these arranged. This one was up here. This one was down here. Hi, Catherine. All right, so that one's there. This was up a little higher, I think. And then it had the tulip leaves. I could cut a piece and put a stem on it, but I don't think we need to because I think this flower covered it, didn't it? And this one goes in here. And then the daisy looking flower was here, right? And then we had a leaf coming down over here and a leaf coming down over here. And this is for our daisy. This little guy got tucked back in this way. And then we did these. I can't remember. I know we put one over here behind this blue flower. Come on out here, little guy. But I'm not entirely sure if we put it over here or did we give this more height? No, we definitely need something filling in over here. Is that how we had it? Yeah, I need to scoot this down a little. I think we need another, just a little one over here. I'm just going to do this pink very quickly because my brain is trying to pair them together since there are like 2 blues, 2 pinks, 1 white. So I don't want that. So I'm just going to add a third pink, and that should help us out in taking out that, that kind of natural pairing that is happening. Nathan just had they just did a plant sale at his school, and they came in on Monday. So they're in my garage. I had to bring them in the garage because I was worried that if I left them outside, they would freeze and die. Um, Hi, Sharon. Um, so I do have some planters and stuff that hopefully you know, if this coming weekend is a little bit warmer, we might be able to uh, get those planted. I think Jelly Bean would be thrilled to have her hands in the dirt. I think she would be very, very happy to be playing out there in the dirt. So, and I do have a very leggy monstera that I should have moved into a larger pot a long time ago, but I didn't. Oh yeah, that hockey, that is true. You do have to be kind of careful if you have cats. My monstera, that's honestly that's part of the reason why I did not um repot my monstera, because it's getting so large. Oh, so okay, I do like that better. That creates a little bit more of a balance with the pink. Um yeah, that's good. Okay. So this would look very cute with a bunny beside it. So I think I'm going to glue them together, like the flowers separately. I'm going to glue them together so then I can move this. Yes, I know. I don't have allergies currently. Um they did get me over the weekend. I think it was Friday night, but I think it's because it's been chilly and raining. I think that is why I have been spared. So I'm thinking we'll put these together and then maybe I will finish it out as a card and um post the finished card, because I don't think I really need to do too much to the background. Now you guys know I had my tweezers, and where have they gone? Why are you the way that you are? Scissors, pokey tool, tweezers. So that hockey, that's so funny that you said that, because I actually pulled that one out. So I did pull this one out and thought, well, maybe I would incorporate it in. Um, but I did not. So maybe that's something I can do for the premiere on Monday is kind of putting them together, and maybe we'll do a shaped card with the apron and these little guys maybe for the Monday premiere. What do you guys think? Those are on top. This one is out. This one is also out. This one just goes on top. So these two, I'm going to have to tape them together. Just going to get two little pieces of tape. No, Lisa, there was not a premiere this past Monday. There was not. But there will be one this coming Monday. Okay. Just want to tape those in, and so you won't be able to see. There we go. Okay. And then these other ones, I guess I'm gonna have to use a different pair of tweezers because I can't find. I don't like it. Don't like that at all. Um, so it's supposed to be 8 o'clock hockey, but I don't necessarily know that we've made 8 o'clock yet. 8 p.m. Eastern time. But I don't necessarily know that we've made that completely on time yet, and that is totally my fault. So okay, then these get glued to these. Oh, it is. I forgot it was Memorial Day. Completely forgot that that was uh, Memorial Day. So that just means that I will. Um, I will for sure have to be taping it earlier. That's all. So hopefully by 8 hopefully by 8 o'clock, everybody will have been on their way home. Not that I don't love seeing my people for cookouts and things, I do. Um, but that's a long that's a long day when they're still people are still here, and it's like you're getting the kids ready for bed and the guests are still here. All right. So I think those are the only ones that actually I think everything's been glued together. So now we can start building this. We did cut a, didn't we? We did. So I'm going to build it on here. I'm not going to leave it on a white card base, but I'm going to build it on here so I make it too tall and it doesn't fit. That would be not fun. All right. So this one, I'm just going to put a little glue on the bottom here because it goes here. And I do want to tuck a little leaf underneath it. Oh, you're having surgery on Wednesday. Oh, well, I will make sure to include you in my prayers. Nope, I don't like that. Nope, nope. It's got to be this one. It's pointing the wrong direction. So come over here before this thing gets sealed down. All right. So we're going to do it like this, where it kind of hangs over just a smidge. There we go. And then we have the daisy, right? And we got to do the little pink flower first. The little pink flower goes under the daisy. So we'll put that down here, and that gets this little leaf. Grab back here, stick this little guy underneath here. So that one's kind of hanging out. I like to have the little pieces here because I feel like that um, makes a fuller shape. Does that make sense to anybody? Okay, and then this goes here. Now, I think last time I put this up, but maybe I do want to put it underneath here. This. Nope, I don't like that. Maybe like this. Hmm, not sure about you. We'll set you aside until we know what we're doing. Okay. So now we know the tulip is going to be up here, and it has this little guy kind of here. So put a little glue there to get him tucked in to the background. And then the leaves. For the, excuse me, thank you. The leaves for the tulip are going to come up like that. And this is just going to make it easier for me to be able to move it as one whole piece. I hope that makes sense. Okay. And then don't necessarily love this. Maybe tuck it over this way a little bit more and put my tulip there. Yeah, I think I could live with that. Okay. Because remember, that's kind of disguising the fact that we don't have a stem there. And then we're going to make sure we don't get stuck to this cardstock. All right, and then this guy's gonna come over here. So we can put a little glue there. Just slide him in there. And then we have this blue flower. That looks almost, so we're gonna put him up a little bit. And then fill this side out with this. Mm, I do think this needs to go somewhere down here. I'm just not 100% sure on where that is yet. Maybe like that. Okay. This one has no glue on it. Okay. Tuck you in here. We'll have to scoot it over just a smidge to make sure that everything fits. Okay. Like that. Do I like it better with the, nope, I do like it better kind of put underneath. I don't love this tulip. We will have to circle back to this tulip, I think. I know I ripped it. Don't panic. Nobody panic. Okay. Maybe straight up and down. Yeah, I think I do like that better versus it being off to the side. I do think I like it because it makes it. Okay. So let's do that. And since we are almost done putting our little guy together, I am going to add some glue right behind this little leaf. Okay. Uh, will everybody be okay with me completing the card, not on the live? Like, since we got to see all the colorings and things, will that be okay? Let me in here, little Daisy. Yeah, I think if we do it like this, yeah, I think that'll be fine. Okay. Okay. I'm not mad about that. I think that's cute. And we can put it on. I might have to tack it up a little bit like that, but I think he's a cute little guy. So if Lisa is still in here while I do my little shimmers and detail work, if she wants to pick a winner for the live, if not, I can pick it. Where is my white gel pen? Here it is. Okay. So let's look and see what we can do to kind of make these our own. I think maybe we'll add some dots because I do love a good dot. And then we'll do some highlights here. Oh, there's Lisa. I'm sure she's working on picking a winner for us. Yeah, I'm gonna add one on the little centers too, like a little highlight. That's cute. And then here, maybe we'll do some white dots in a little bit of a different pattern. And something here. I mean, these are not necessary. It just adds a little something, you know. Okay, so Lisa's got our winner here. Nina made. Congratulations. We love a winner. Um, I'm gonna get the website up for you to send an email to customercare@honeybeestamps.com and they will get you your gift certificate for shopping. Okay, so we'll just do like a little highlight on the. So somebody asked, I think, if I ever use distress oxides for to color. Um, I don't typically, but I'm not opposed to it. So if that's something that you want to see, I can definitely try to incorporate that. Um, so I'm gonna bring back my face. Hello. So it was a little bit longer today, but I'm super excited that we got to finish this little piece. Like I just think it's cute. Like I know that it's different than the lovely layers, but I I think it's still something that, can be made into something with dimension. And I love the little texture and like the galvanized watering can. So I will put this together as a card and I will post it because I still need to post from the lives from last week. I did not post the pictures in the group yet, so I'm due for that as well. Um, so I will finish this up and do those pictures also. So thank you guys for spending your Wednesday with me. I hope that you have a lovely 3-day weekend with Memorial Day. And I will see you on Monday night. And we'll be using these little apron garden tools. Um, love these. These are so cute. So, all right. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you spending your time with me. And I will catch you on the next video. Not on the next video, on the next live. Okay. Bye.